Hey guys, how's it going? The person of Jesus in the New Testament is a highly empowered, highly authorized messianic figure. He's a genuine human being. That means that he is a man, a member of the human race, but he is able to perform a lot of godlike things, not because he himself is God, he's not the God of Israel, but instead because the God of Israel has authorized Jesus to perform such works and empowered him to perform these mighty deeds. And you can see this in several places in the New Testament, and it's very clear that the writers of the New Testament don't want you to confuse Jesus, the person who is doing these highly empowered miracles, and the God who has actually empowered Jesus to do them. So take, for example, Matthew chapter 9, which has a parallel in Mark chapter 2, where Jesus is able to forgive sins. So they drop the paralyzed man into the house, and Jesus says that his sins are forgiven. And then the people look in their hearts and they say, "Who can forgive sins but God alone?" Now, if Jesus was God, he would say, "Yes, I am God. I'm able to forgive sins because I am the God of Israel." That's not what he said. And it's very clear in the text that that's not the conclusion that the readers are supposed to walk away with. It says in Matthew chapter 9, verse 6, that Jesus said, "Just so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins," he said to pick up his pallet and walk. Jesus defines himself as the Son of Man, as the highly empowered human being who possesses authority on earth to forgive sins. He's a human being who has authority, presumably from God, to forgive sins. And this, of course, is what the crowds understood by it, as we can see 2 verses later in Matthew chapter 9, verse 8. The crowds were astonished because God had given authority to men. God gave authority to Jesus to do this. Not that Jesus was a God-man or that he was the God of Israel. Jesus was a human being who was highly empowered and highly authorized to do the sort of things that God is usually doing by himself. That makes Jesus an agent of God, and as the Son of God, of course, he is the most qualified agent that God could naturally have. And then at the end of the ministry of Jesus, in Matthew chapter 28, verse 18, after the resurrection, Jesus says that all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Remember back in Matthew chapter 9, verse 6, Jesus said that he, as the Son of Man, had authority on earth at that point. But after his resurrection, he is more highly empowered, and he now possesses authority in heaven and on earth. But notice, it was given to him. He didn't innately possess it because he's a man. He's a member of the human race. He is the human Messiah. And God empowered Jesus in his messianic ministry in order to perform great and mighty deeds. And then after his resurrection, Jesus is highly exalted and highly powered, not to be confused with the one true God, but to be the one true God's Messiah and Son. Don't forget to subscribe.